I want to do a video asking you a question. You know, you as a random viewer that doesn't already know me, you know, because everybody, I'm lucky. All the people that know me, like in real life and kind of already from like other stuff that I do, they're great people. And you guys do everything you can to help me. And sometimes you really make offers that are above and beyond. And I have to be like, no, I'm not going to let you go that far to help me. Thank you, but no, you know. So very lucky in that regard. Love all of you to death. However, strangers, you know, everybody seems to just not like me, and I'm really okay with that because it's very very easy to find reasons why that's okay. Basically, you know, it's easy to imagine a stranger not liking you for a reason that just doesn't upset you, and it's really hypothetical going into it and why and everything. So I'm not gonna, you know, play that kind of fandom game. But I do have a question for strangers. It's like, what would you like me to do? What this is a skill that I have. I can, and this is a skill. You know, you it kind of gets lost on people, but like this requires setup. I had to learn a piece of software. I had to configure some equipment and some applications, and I just had to learn things to be able to do this. And part of what got me into computers initially was basically they were just around when I was a kid, and that's kind of an accident of birth thing, you know. And again, it's a skill. It's a skill I made money at for a long time. Like I come from an era when you could like, you know, I'm like 43 or 44 or something, and it's like you can, you know, I did computer repair. Like I was the computer guy. That was like my job for a long time. And it never paid well because I never could really do it. You know, I couldn't really travel. Like my few clients would actually come and get me. And I'm kind of proud of that because it says something about the quality of my work. It's like, would you go get your computer guy? Like you go drive to pick up your computer guy from his fucked up house and bring him to yours to do stuff with your system and then take him back home and pay him? I had to be awesome, and I was. But anyway, I'm not allowed to make money anymore because unless you're going to give me $200,000 a year, I can't afford medical insurance, and I have migraines, and that medicine is $200 a month if I don't, you know, have Medicaid. So I don't get to work. I'm not allowed to work. Meh. You know, and that's on top of all my other issues, which are a thing and I can go into, but really the medical thing is a deal ender and it applies to everybody, and that's why we should be striking. But, you know, you don't want to hear that from me, apparently. You don't want to hear politics. You don't want to hear philosophy. You don't want to hear anything like that from me. And I know that because none of the stuff, when I talk about stuff, it's not popular. Nothing I do, people care about. Twitter, Reddit, here, nobody cares. You know, my blog, I don't get comments. I don't get views. Fucking YouTube thinks it's spam. Like literally, if I post a link to my blog on YouTube, they will delete my comment. Underlore.com, and it's not fucking spam, it's just WordPress. It's literally a self-hosted WordPress blog, and it's just me typing and talking about stuff. You know, sometimes it's video games, mostly it's politics and philosophy, you know. So I like, please, if you're a stranger seeing this and it says that I get like 40 views, you know, you tell me, what do you want to hear? You know, I want to help my fellow species. You know, I want to be useful. I don't want to just sit here and be carried, but I don't have any alternatives. So I just don't get it. You know, what do you want? I guess like there's like, I'm not going to sell my soul. I'm not going to say anything I don't believe in. Like, for example, there's been stuff about how influencers and stuff on Instagram and TikTok and whatever are getting offers from Israeli PR to, you know, $5,000 to renounce Hamas and stuff and or back Israel. And I'm like, I would be one of the few, you know, test me, offer me that money. I will share about how it's no. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sell my soul. Israel has been murdering Palestinians forever. And I want to go a step beyond that because that almost seems mainstream and popular now in my circles, man. Everybody gets it, and I'm real surprised. They didn't get it on COVID, and I didn't get it on COVID, and they didn't get it on well, not really. Anyway, and they don't get it on Ukraine, and a bunch of other stuff. Like there's a laundry list of issues a person can care about, and they can take positions, and almost nobody is where I would consider what I would consider right on, like, let's say 90% of them, and it's not hard to do that, by the way, to get a 90%. Basically just be in favor of alleviating pain and be willing to research whether or not your position alleviates pain or not. It's not that hard. It really just apply that metric and you'll get accuracy and consistency, and you'll be right in line with me pretty much as far as I know. And I'm open to being wrong. If one of the things, it turns out I'm in this strata that's actually in favor of the thing that is less alleviating of pain, let me know. I want to know. But I'm pretty fucking sure I'm not. Because I read and I got nothing else to do. So I dig in and I make sure. So there's that. But yeah, I won't sell my soul. I'm not gonna hurt other people actively, intentionally, avoidably to make money. Not gonna do it. Okay. So that's a lot of limits, though. That is a lot of limits. There's a lot of stuff, and that includes me. I'm not going to torture myself either. There's a lot of stuff that you could do. Like let's say there's a lot of stuff that requires investment and gambling, and I can't do that either. Because I don't have anything to gamble with anymore. I had to spend my life savings a couple times on some stuff. The big one is I broke my foot. And I had to spend like a month in a hotel because there was no getting back to my room. I had to spend my life savings for medical on a hotel. It was during COVID, so that's fun. But also, they won't put me up anywhere. They're just like, here, have crutches. And I'm like, dude, unless these crutches are robotic with like spider legs and can navigate steps and squish in and go through doors and stuff, no. I'm not going to dangle my completely bisected heel bone with a cast on it over stuff, no. Just no, I'm not. So I didn't. And I'm glad I didn't, because I avoided foot surgery by completely leaving my foot to hover for a solid month. My foot repaired itself, basically. And it's actually better than it was before, because I broke my deformed, yes, hi, you're so good, everyone loves you, my CP foot, and now it's better. Like, I can actually wear shoes that don't destroy on the right side. Like, look, my hand is all fucked up. Like, basically, these are the only two fingers that aren't deformed. Everything else is damaged goods. This is the hand that they told me, I could assemble fishing reels with, by the way. When I applied for disability and they told me no, it's because, I can assemble fishing reels. It's like, okay. Because we all know that America is a massive exporter of fishing reels. I mean, there's a thriving fishing reel economy, and God, just, anyway. Oh, yes, I just don't know what people want from me, I would love to be useful, but I'm not gonna do anything evil. I'm not gonna do anything humiliating. Beyond just being cringe and me, So yeah, I'm open to some suggestions. What I was just to elaborate on, like, my best case scenario, super happy. Wouldn't it be amazing if this happened, kind of thing. In Substack, there is you can like set tiers for people, subscriptions. And if people volunteer to pay, they pledge, basically. Until I turn that on, it doesn't actually start happening. And that would be a way for me to jump the poverty gap. Like, have a bunch of people just pledge until, like, it's like, let's say, just assuming a bullshit rating of like 100% or 50%, like, where it's like I have to double up. You know, I have to wait until there's twice as many people that say they're going to pay, expecting only half to be able to pay. See, because if I like start accepting just a few, then I have to report all that income, and I have to fight with food card and fight with Medicare and or Medicaid and be like, you know, am I poor enough? Do I am I allowed to get my migraine meds paid for? You know, so I need to be able to jump that gap. Like that actually happened to me. I had a temporary summer job, total charity gig. Friend of mine's mom worked at a place, and she was in a position to hire a temporary summer clerical dude. And she basically just put me in a room with some files in the computer and was like, alphabetize them. I don't know. You know, it was very, very sweet. Love her to death. Thank you very much. You know who you are. As if she'd ever see this. You know, she's off being successful. Anyway. But yeah, I've never been able to have a real job. And honestly, it looks like everybody else, even the ones that can have a real job, can't anymore. Like America is imploding. People are working out of their car. It's wild. It's wild out there. And I'm feeling more and more justified in never having participated. Like, for example, I don't have any student debt. I was like, grants and scholarships only, period. Sorry, if that means no degree, then fuck a degree. I was a banking major, right? So when I learned that student debts were undischargeable, I was like, no. Because, I mean, that is an interesting question. The concept of a student loan is weird because it's like, what are you going to repossess? What's the collateral? The collateral is your fucking skin, you know? Like, your collateral is you. Slavery is your collateral for a student loan. So I was like, no, that's not for me. I remember I saw a comic one time that was really great. It showed like a homeless dude, you know, with a cup of change, and it's like net worth $1.27 in change. But all the people walking past him in nice clothes and a car and everything, their net values were like negatives, heavy negatives for house, car, student. It's like, that's the whole fucking country. That's why the interest on our debt has now exceeded the military budget. And our military budget is no fucking joke. It's like the next 13 countries combined. So yeah, we're all living on the fucking credit card. And dumb. It turns out turning off taxes and sucking billionaires off is expensive. Holy shit. You know, so I don't know, man. Like, I guess what I could do is try and carve that up. And like, I know I've jumped topics, but it's organic. It flows from one to the other. It's a web of fucked upness that I like to talk about. And I have a pretty good picture on all of it. And that's what I do, you know? I don't know how to carve it up and make it bite-sized and not nice, and I'd hire somebody to help me with that kind of thing if, you know, I had any kind of resources. But it's like I was saying about the poverty gap. You have to have a bunch all at once, you know? I'm not going to go into debt. I'm not going to exploit my friends and family beyond what it takes to survive. I mean, I'm kind of exploiting people just living. What can I do? Shit, I don't know, man. They tell me I'm not disabled. Maybe I'm not. So if I'm not, what should my job be? You know, if I like am unwilling to be a slave. Yeah. and the thing is, it's like, I'm not trying to say I'm better than everybody else. I'm asking why it is they put up with it. Like, you're either a slave or you're not, you know? If you're a slave, the answer is fight, isn't it? Or at least stop, especially if it's not like antebellum slavery where like they're not going to like hideously torture you for not working. Like, I'll be homeless before I'll be a slave. I just know it. I won't be able to do it. Like a couple of the jobs that I've had have not lasted because I guess I can't keep my mouth shut. Like, I had one guy, a boss, and I don't think, I guess it was like autistic raging or something. It's like I was upset about something. I don't even remember what now, but it's not like I broke stuff or caused any kind of physical problem. I was just yelling at him a little bit, you know, and I wasn't even really like, ah. It was just like this, how I'm talking now. It was like, you're kind of full of shit, man, you know, and not being, oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, kiss the ring. None of that shit that day. Now, I'm willing, you know, I'll call a boss because they're my fucking boss, and I'll treat them with respect if they want it, you know, and if they've earned it. But I just don't understand. Like, everybody hates me, I feel like, when I talk about this. I feel like they resent me for, like, not doing stuff, because it's like I'm saying you shouldn't do stuff either. But I'm not, like, saying I'm better. I'm just saying I don't get it. I don't understand how you can stand it. You know, I guess it's just nature and context. I don't know. I don't believe in free will, so none of it's my control. None of it's your control. I strongly believe that. I mean, there's no middle ground. It's either everything is either determined or chaotic. We're basically characters in a book. I'm not even sure time is a thing. I feel like characters in a book. You know, it's like everything's actually squished, closed. We're on a shelf. I don't know who's reading, but, you know, I feel like consciousness is the reader, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I wake up and I scheme about ways to improve things, and I hit all the walls in my head over and over and over. It's like, no, I can't just go get a job unless that job pays enough to buy private insurance and isn't evil, isn't torturing people, isn't humiliating to me, isn't more than walking distance away. That's a problem. You know, all the shit that it takes to try and, will it cover rent, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, all the shit that is required to survive in America and everything with a job and all that. I just don't know what to do, and I always scheme, and it never works, and I just play games and do YouTube and eat and sleep, cat chores, repeat. Yeah. I really can't think of anything. And if somebody had some suggestions that isn't like, you know, pulled it out of your ass, thought for 5 seconds. I mean, you know, I'm not an idiot. I've thought of stuff. I'm like, it's funny. You know, I tell people about my situation and they'll say stuff like, get a job. And I'm like, dude, you know, I'm aware that jobs exist. I've thought of that. There might be some extenuating circumstances you're unaware of. You know, and it just gets real old having to explain them over and over. And that's why I just stopped applying for disability, you know, which is funny. Technically, it makes me not unemployed, because they say that if, like, in order to count as unemployed, you have to be looking. And I'm like, I'm no longer looking for the elephant in my garage, because one, I don't have a garage, and two, I know there's not an elephant in there. You know, that doesn't mean like I'm some kind of, it's just so dumb. You know, it's like unemployed people are people that don't have jobs. Now you can, from that pool, subtract some people that like don't have jobs because they were born into money, or because they are retired, or because they are hideously disabled, you know, whatever. And I say hideously because for purposes of doing that calculation, you want to be conservative with it. You don't want to just say, well, everybody's disabled if they claim disability. And again, I'm quick to add, I'm saying everybody should get money. I'm in favor of basic income, you know, and if people want extra because they're disabled, that's fine too. And I think it should be like the Americans with Disability Act. It's like, just fucking claim it. People who don't need it won't claim it. Anyway, because people don't want to ask for stuff. Like, I would rather just, like, it's like a video game. If I was in town and I could just go out into the level 1 area and kill monsters for gold and use that gold to buy food, I would do that. I wouldn't stand in town and be like, somebody give me gold, if I had the option of going and getting gold. All right? So think about what is stopping me from doing that. It's like, well, there's no gold, there's no monsters. Asking for it is my only option for some reason, you know? I don't know. It's just a mess. And I do want advice. Like, but I don't want hamster wheel advice. I don't want flippant advice. I want advice that is something I probably haven't thought of, you know? And if you can't think of anything, leave that comment too. I would love to know that somebody is seeing this that doesn't already know me. I want to be able to monetize myself. You know, I am willing to help. How can I help? I want to be me and get paid for being me. Just like I want you to get paid for being you. I feel like just being conscious should be grounds for getting paid, but we're dumb as a civilization and don't do that. So, but yeah, I scheme all the time and I can't think of anything. I can, if I had resources, I could think of things, you know, like I've got basic advice for people if they're not sure and they've got resources. Like I talk to younger people because, you know, I play a game all the time, so I run into young people. It's like I tell them, you know, it's like if at all possible, don't take your pay flat. Take it in passive permanent gains. Like just like buy stock. Like if you're not relying on any kind of aid and you're allowed to have savings. I'm legally not allowed to have savings anymore. My life savings that I sold for my foot was Bitcoin before they started regulating it. You know, so and thinking about what that stuff is worth today hurts. But, you know, that's some PTSD, that's a personal issue, whatever. But there's other ways to accumulate assets though. You can like buy collectibles. You know, they don't ask me if I have nice Magic the Gathering cards or something when I apply for a food card. They ask me stuff like savings, stocks, bonds, blah, 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 blah. So you can have savings legally that don't count. Like basically just buy art. And if you want to put it in a safe deposit box. You know, you're paying on it, you're not getting interest on it, but the interest you get is appreciation. You know, it's going up in value. So hopefully it goes up in value faster than your safety deposit box fee. Cool, right? And or if you're just allowed to have assets, you know, either buy stocks. I say everybody needs to buy stock in the companies that they patronize. You know, it's like I would like to own stock in Amazon and Walmart and Alphabet and all the companies that I do stuff and that have power over me, so that I could like go to stockholder meetings if they really upset me or if I want to just get involved. I can't travel, but that's the advice I give to other people who can, you know. So I've got stuff to offer, like at least some information that's useful, I think. But people just don't want to hear anything. I don't know what people want to hear, I guess. And if nobody wants to hear anything, I guess I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. I mean, I'm going to do that anyway. But yeah, so if any of that, I don't know. I just want some data input. Thanks for watching.